you guys look really squished. Can we, yeah, make a little bit room for a percussion section so they're not as squished? Okay, cool. Yeah. And can I just slide the upper line a little bit? Yep. Cool. And can you all see A major? I don't mean the key of A major. I mean one of these drum majors. Yeah? Okay, cool. So let's try this. Let's run it, okay? Remember, in here you can be really sensitive and musical to dynamics. You can really exaggerate dynamics, and it's gonna be beautiful because we're playing inside. All right? And Perk, just to remind you, they're gonna play 2 phrases before Aiden Fu even comes in. Then Aiden Fu comes in at letter B, and then crescendos his 4th pattern of his 8 bar, his 7th and 8th bar, his 4th pattern through. He crescendos, and then everyone else comes in on the downbeat of C, and it's just 3 times. Crash, do 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 do, roll. Crash, do 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 do, roll. Crash, do 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 do, roll. And then we're done. All right, here we go. Let's try it. And don't be weirded out when you perform in the board meeting, because I'm going to be holding this, because otherwise no one at home will hear you at all. Okay, so this is like you're going to perform into this. Well, let's breathe together. Let's hear that pitch in our heads, and let's imagine ourselves making a nice round first attack together. Breathe together, attack together.
So they're redefining him again. I saw something supposedly.
First row. Okay, Barbara, are you ready? Winnie, are we ready? Okay. The board met tonight in executive session. We're now ready to continue with the public portion of our meeting. I think we'll flip the agenda a little bit since we have the band standing by. And so I will turn it over
To me
to you.
first. Yes, to me first.
I was
Thank
going
you.
to turn it over to Dr. Gage, but I'll turn it over to Dirk.
It's a pleasure that we have visitors tonight. So the marching band traveled to Ireland this past spring, where they had been invited to represent Glen Ridge, the state of New Jersey, and the United States as participants in the St. Patrick's Day festivals in both Killarney and Limerick, I believe you. The band marched in parades in both of these cities, with time left over for memorable sightseeing trips to the Cliffs and Moore Burden National Park and the Rock of Cashel. In the Limerick parade, our students marched alongside the 300-plus members of the University of Florida Gator Marching Band, and on St. Patrick's Day itself, the marching band was named the best musical entry, topping all participating groups from Ireland and across Europe. Congratulations, guys. To both the musicians and the color guard and the members of our marching band for representing our town, our state, and our country with pride and honor. And I'm very pleased to introduce the leader of our marching band, Dr. Darren Gage.
Thank you so much, Mr. Phillips and the whole board for having us this evening. We are not going to take the time to do this in the room, but we were provided with certificates for each member of the band and color guard by the Killarney St. Patrick's Day Festival Committee. And so actually we're going to go downstairs after we perform, and in the chorus room we're going to present this to all of the members. But I wanted to read the certificate. It says, Killarney St. Patrick's Festival Parade 2023, Best Musical Entry is awarded to the Glen Ridge Marching Band by decree of Paul Sherry and the St. Patrick's Festival Committee, Town of Killarney, County Kerry, Ireland. So every member of the band will be getting these as another memento of the trip. We were so proud of how they did in the parades and throughout the trip. It was really a once-in-a-lifetime experience for them, and it's something that we're hoping to continue doing every 4 years, so that every student, while they're within the high school, gets one chance to march on St. Patrick's Day in Ireland. So we're hoping to keep that tradition going moving forward. And we felt very fortunate that the board and administration worked with us to make it happen this time, because we weren't sure coming out of COVID if we were going to be able to get this in before this senior class graduated, but we did, and that meant a lot to them and to the program. So again, thanks for having us, and we are going to share something with you that we played on our Irish trip. I did an arrangement of a song called Down by the Sally Gardens, and it's something that we played at the reviewing stand of the Limerick Parade. So we marched through the parade and then stopped and played this traditional Irish ballad for the parade committee. So we're going to share it with you. It's just a couple of minutes long, but we'd like to share it with you. So this is the 2023 Glen Ridge Marching Band. Thank you so much, and I'd like to acknowledge our two drum majors. You may relax. I'd like to acknowledge our two drum majors, Ellis Kastenmeyer and Andrew Guardiola. And I guess since this just came out, this is recent, this is trending, we just revealed yesterday what next year's marching band show will be. It's called Pet Sounds, and it's going to be an exploration of that classic 1966 album by Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys. So that's going to be our field show for this coming fall, which I think is going to be a lot of fun, a real crowd pleaser, and we're really excited to dig into that material for next fall. So we're very excited. We just literally, I let them know yesterday. So,
That is
so thank you so
wonderful.
much for having us.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And thank you, students. That was terrific. And it sent chills down my spine, even just that short song. Thank you so much. Okay, now we will resume our agenda. We had a little bit of public correspondence since the last meeting, which was April 25th. Both pieces came in on May 3rd. One was from Greta Sawa and the other from Lynn O'Connor, both on the subject of weighted grades for courses taken outside of the district. And we have discussed that in various committees, and I know that Mr. Phillips will get back to the individuals who wrote. The President's report. First, a couple of a sad note. I want to remember Marcella Mark Borgenecht, a student who graduated Glen Ridge High School in 2020, who passed away recently from a serious illness. And so this is the second person this year to whom I've handed a diploma in the past who has passed away. And it is especially hard to think of lives lost so young. So please keep that family in your prayers. I also want to pay tribute to Rosemary Cancellieri, who is retiring. You'll see that on your agendas. She has worked for us for many, many years. She's been a bright light for all of those years. Linden Avenue School will miss her in particular, but the district will miss her very much. So we wish her well as well. And then it is the end of the school year. It's celebration season. All of you know that. The board will be doing two of its yearly duties, which is one is the board self-evaluation, which we do every year, where we look at how we have done on achieving our goals, and the other is the superintendent evaluation, which we do in collaboration with the superintendent. And after our July meeting, we'll be holding our annual board retreat, where we delve into a topic that we don't usually have time to cover during the regular school year at our regular meetings, and this year it will be school climate and culture. So we're looking forward to that as well. I wanted to let you know, because we have talked so much about the crisis in school staffing, which is statewide, also nationwide. And last Thursday in the New Jersey Assembly, a large packet of bills was introduced to try to help alleviate the staffing shortages. The bills range, and on both the economic side, because it is expensive to become a teacher in New Jersey, and also just the logistical side. So among the bills are bills that would provide stipends for student teachers, because as you know, student teaching takes a full year, and not only do teaching candidates pay tuition during that time, but obviously they can't work at another job because they are in classrooms. That is one of the bills. There's a bill for a tax credit, New Jersey tax credit of $250 for expenses that teachers spend out of pocket, and all teachers spend money out of pocket. There are numerous bills. There's a potential for the elimination of the Praxis Test of Basic Skills, which is a basic skills test that all teaching candidates right now are required to take. They also take a second practice test in their area of specialization. So it is an ambitious group of bills. It is the legislature's really first attempt to deal with the realities of the staffing crisis. There will be more bills coming down. Those bills were released from the Assembly Education Committee last Thursday unanimously. It was bipartisan, which is a rarity in legislative matters. Some of them are being heard in the Assembly Appropriations Committee Thursday. They will pass from there also. So we're very much hoping that possibly before the November election, or hopefully before a new legislature is seated in January, that many of these bills will become law, and we will be taking the first steps towards relieving the education staffing shortage. And that is the President's report.
Thank you, Betsy. Well, today's actually 1 month from the high school graduation. I'm going to look at you smiling over there. Just make sure you're staying on top of what's happening in the schools, because the last month is just a plethora of events. We have parent orientations, buddy breakfasts, concerts, honor society inductions, prom, art fair, food trucks, field trips, dinner with Thomas Jefferson, academic awards ceremonies, spelling bees, state athletic competitions, a long Memorial Day weekend, move-up days, promotions, graduation, and our last event of the school year, project graduation. So make sure you're looking at the calendar and going through that 2 o'clock email distribution. As far as current events, this past weekend, Ridgewood Avenue had their musical. It's just unbelievable. They had a little under 200 students participate in that musical. Just to see that many students on stage and how it's a well-oiled machine. So I give Heather Ballantyne a lot of credit for what she does. It was a truly amazing show and a terrific experience for our Ridgewood Avenue students. Linden Avenue School ran a successful international fair. I know it was well attended, and some beautiful dancing occurred during that. Central School had a gorgeous day last week when they planted. Every student got the experience to plant, and they learned a little bit about compost and earthworms. So they were having a terrific time out there, and I was able to join them for a little bit. Forest Avenue had another successful soccer-thon in their spring carnival last Friday. I'd like to congratulate Emily Randolph for hitting a hole-in-one in the county golf tournament. I'm very jealous of her. And Preston Palm, who took second in the Group 1 championships. And yesterday at the high school, they had a college reveal day, so all the seniors wore the T-shirt or sweatshirt to the college that they are attending. A lot of excitement there. Curriculum-wise, I just want to inform the public and the board that after discussing the potential of adding volleyball teams, we did have a lot of discussions with the curriculum committee, finance committee, and our athletic department. We are giving the volleyball programs a green light to move forward. So if there's interest and there's funding for that first year, in the next fall, we will have a girls volleyball team, and in the spring, a boys volleyball team. This year we had an initiative of Phonics First for grades students in grades 1 through 3. It is a multi-sensory resource tool for our students, and it's been a very successful program. And sometimes when we introduce these programs, it's hard to get buy-in from every staff member, but we took a great deal of time in the fall to make sure the staff had enough training, and we ended up giving them a lot of professional development time in the fall to make sure they were ready to implement this program, and it has taken off, and our teachers are very excited and very pleased with the progress they're seeing. We are expanding the Phonics First next year. It will be introduced in kindergarten, and the 4th grade will get the older version of it called methodology. So we're excited to keep offering our multisensory approach to reading. We are continuing to have teachers get certified in Orton Gilliam. We've offered an after-school program for students this year, and for students who have the most needs, we're offering Orton Gilliam during the school day. Recently, I formed a middle school program committee just to look at the strengths and weaknesses of our middle school programs and to see how we can do things a little bit better and have a more meaningful experience for our middle school students. So we're going to continue that work, and you're going to see some changes for next year and the following year. And we are reviewing potential social emotional learning programs for next year, and I'm working with my elementary principals for that. Facility-wise, I'm very happy to see progress being made in the high school weight room, the fitness room. We're hoping to have that done before the end of the school year, and that's being funded by the Home and School Association here at the high school. We are also trying to make plans on June 15th. It's the last day of school, and we will be very busy in this building closing it down because that following Monday we are going into construction mode here for a few weeks, and the high school will be closed down. That means us moving all our 12-month staff out of here into other buildings over the weekend. Personnel-wise, you'll see on the agenda we have 2 new hires for next school year. We're at that process where we are interviewing and trying to fill our staff for next school year. We expect several new hires come the June agenda. And as we're talking about the June agenda, we will be honoring our retirees and our educators of the year. So it will be a little festival come June.
Okay, it is celebration season. All right, we've now come to the first public comment period for comments or questions on agenda items only. For those of you not familiar with our protocols, if you have a question or comment, step up to the lectern, sign in, identify yourself, confirm your Glen Ridge residence, and then you have 2 minutes to tell us what's on your mind. My colleague Tracy will do the timing. So does anyone have a question or comment?
I hope this counts as an agenda item that's band related. Is this on? Yeah, okay. My name is Amy Davis, and I've lived on Willow Street in Glen Ridge for 19 years. I have a son who graduated from Glen Ridge last year and a daughter who is a junior at the high school. I'm addressing you today as the newly elected president of the Glen Ridge Music Parents Association. Grumpa is so proud of our marching band members who have been honored here today, and we recognize that this team is an important extension of the music program, both for the students involved and for the community at large. Who doesn't love the band's march over on football game days? But as an organization that is deeply committed to supporting all aspects of the school's music program, we are concerned that the foundational elements of the program, the daily practice of music throughout the year during the school day in the form of both concert band and chorus, are at critically low student enrollment levels. We as music parents are seeking to raise awareness of these declining engagement levels and to ask for help in promoting and prioritizing these critical elements of the music program. We understand that in a small district, it is difficult to manage every child's nuanced needs, but we believe that a community attitude of helping musically inclined children to prioritize band or chorus on their schedules would go a long way toward building up the enrollment numbers in these groups. Over time, this is going to be necessary to maintain the high quality of music presented by the marching band and other music-related clubs. We are actively working with our students to brainstorm various ways to pique other students' interest in joining the core music programs. We hope the board and administration will be open to these new ideas. On a personal note, I would like to thank all of the music and art teachers throughout the Glen Ridge School District. They've been anchors of support for our children throughout the years. Excuse me. I can honestly say that our family
It's
has
okay. It's okay.
changed for the better by all of them. Thank you for your time.
You're fine. You're fine. Thank you. Other comments?
Hello. My name is Bob White. I live in Lorraine Street, and I'm a Glen Ridge Marching Band parent of 2 girls in the band. I'm a Glen Ridge alumni. I went to, and I was in the marching band with Dr. Gage, truth be told. So, you know, I just want to echo these comments. We are concerned about, we're concerned about our kids. You know, my kids have found a home in the arts. They really, they've blossomed in there. And, you know, one concern I have is art versus music and scheduling and having to deal with both of them. And you know, I've got a freshman going to sophomore year. I've got a sixth grader, and I'm hearing all these concerns about they have to pick one or the other, and they can't accommodate those schedules. And it's not something that I had when I was in school. I mean, there was mandatory band. You had to take concert band to be in marching band, and despite that requirement, I still was able to do gifted and talented art for 2 periods a day. So I know this can be done, but I think it's going to require some sort of like brainstorming and not just, you know, administrative stuff, but it's also, as Amy had said, we need to you know, promote and get down into the lower grades and get them excited about this, and you know, and that's what the Music Parents is about. We want to see what we can do to up the enrollment. I mean, what we have now is a chamber orchestra, even just a band, not necessarily a concert band, and it's sad, but you know, and I understand it fluctuates, but we would like to see what we can do to get a larger, more raucous band. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Charlie Breslin. I live on Summer Avenue, and I have 3 kids in the district, one of whom is a theater arts music kid. And it's really wonderful to see the development of our program. And I think these are parents not coming so much as complaining, but thanking and encouraging more development in this area. I mean, certainly in our time with the addition of Mr. Pavlov, Ms. Tarabatia, Mr. Gage has always been here, Ms. Sharin was always here. We have a great dream team. And one of the things that I've noticed about the music and art program that maybe comes in line with some of the other district goals is the opportunity for community, continuity, and mentorship. That's certainly, you know, Mr. Phillips mentioned the recent Raz performance. What was really wonderful is there were middle schoolers and high schoolers who were students of these teachers who went back to Raz to mentor the kids and help with the 8th graders. And it's mentoring, it's modeling, and we're hoping that more of these opportunities kind of brings in kids so they can also continue, show what it's like to be in high school, to be in the programs, create a community where kids know they belong, and also some self-mentorship to help if maybe if one of the things as the board thinks about in your retreat is using other programs and ways to change the culture. Because this program is not only helping create this award-winning band that we're so proud, but this is also helping to change a culture within our schools in a very positive, upstanding way. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Don't take the pencil, Charlie.
Hello. My name is Dylan Baruti. I live on Bay Avenue, and I am a junior here at Glen Ridge High School, and I am a member of the Glen Ridge Marching Band. I just wanted to tell a little story about my involvement with the band program as a whole, and in particular concert band. So, my sport phase began and ended in middle school. I played basketball for 3 years, and as my dad likes to say, I was 1 and 3, 1 basket in 3 years. Around the same time, I discovered concert band, to which I have been a member of ever since. I believe the Glen Ridge Music Program is one of the best around, and through it I have learned to read and appreciate music and work together as a team to create something truly special. Over the last 8 years, concert band has led me to jazz band, marching band, pep band, chorus, and to many achievements, memories, and friends. I am incredibly thankful for the opportunity of concert band, as my time in high school would look a lot different without it. I'm currently a junior, and due to schedule and conflicts, I had to choose to take concert band instead of the engineering class I had originally selected for this year. It is my hope that the district can find a way for students to take both concert band and their preferred electives. Without a creative approach, younger students may not have a music program to choose and sadly miss out on the experiences that have changed my life and could change their lives in the same way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Emma Walker. I live in Glen Ridge, and I'm here to speak on the lack of enrollment in the concert band over the years. I've always loved music, and it's been a staple in my life for many years. However, in 6th grade, I was unsure whether I wanted to join the concert band moving into high school. From what I can remember, the guidance department put a lack of emphasis on joining the concert band. At such a young age, we're very naive, and if someone had noticed I had done band for the past years, it would have been a great discussion about the importance of continuing my musical path. I was lucky enough to be encouraged to continue with private lessons and later went to a music camp, where I realized quickly that although I had lessons, I lacked a critical foundation of music that can only be mastered in a concert band. As I went into high school, I wanted to be involved in many classes, yet my guidance counselor seemed to tell me that concert band couldn't fit in my schedule, as if his hands were tied. Now I have to get a gym exemption where I have a study hall in which I go to that concert band class instead of gym, and it shouldn't be that difficult. I believe that there should be an individual conversation happening within all guidance departments with musically inclined students about why it's important to continue with the concert band. Though coding and fun game classes are intriguing or sound like a good lead into the high school level classes, they are all retaught in the high school curriculum. The band is the only exception. Many people don't have access to private teachers or parents that can recognize the importance of continuing an instrument. When they opt out of music after the RAS level, they are likely not to look back. The other music programs all rely on the back of the concert band. One cannot happen without the other. Our school is the rare case that the concert band has less involvement. From all the camps I've attended, almost everyone is in their concert band, and the other programs have the most concern. I'm not hoping for a program where our concert band thrives and the others fail, but rather one where they can thrive in unity. I know that this task isn't one that can be solved overnight, but if we can at least recognize the issue, hopefully something can change. It isn't because we have too small a school, as I've talked to friends that attend smaller schools than ours, that have bands as large as having a string section. I know that's me having my hopes too high, but hey, one can dream. Music students need to be encouraged to build their schedule off of the music program, and I'm lucky enough for my new guidance counselor to have recognized that. I hope that continues on all levels in the future. I love concert band, and I wish I could experience that joy earlier on, as it would have made me a better musician today. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments?
Hi, I'm Alex Meyer. I was here a few weeks ago. Wasn't planning on being here speaking in support of the music parents folks, but being a former music alum of the Glen Ridge Music Program, I have to say right on to all you guys. Just also tying that in with the recent news that we're going to expand and add a volleyball program. My only suggestion is that if the board is intent on adding more and more fall activities, we may rethink the longstanding policy of not allowing kids to partake in both marching band and a fall sport, being that we have several fall programs which are apparently already at critically low numbers. Obviously, to my mind, adding another fall program was maybe a misstep, but that ship seems to have sailed. Prohibiting kids to participate in marching band and a fall sport is only going to further winnow the numbers because kids have to choose one or the other. Personally, I work in a small school district where kids are allowed to participate in both, and while certainly not every student athlete chooses to do marching band and a sport, there are a handful that do, and those kids do quite well. I remember several years ago coaching the valedictorian of our school, who was also the flute section leader and was the state champ in the 5K. So it is very, very possible for kids to do this. I know it's a long-standing policy. I don't know how recently you guys have rethought this, but just mathematically, rather than force kids into the position of having to choose one or the other and further seeing our numbers fall and then further extend it with volleyball, we may want to rethink that.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll continue with our meeting. It is the first and only meeting of the month. So board members, it is time, if you have committee and liaison reports to give them. We'll start with Colin, who is sitting in Tricia's seat. I think you need to switch those.
Oh, yeah.
There, now you are officially you, Colin.
Perfect. Okay, first of all, the middle and high school chorus spring concert will be Thursday at 7 p.m. in the Ridgewood Auditorium. The NHS induction ceremony is May 24th at 6 p.m. And also on the 24th, we will have the Sharing the Arts spring performance at 7:30 at the Women's Club. Spring Day will be hosted on Friday, May 26th. And Spring Day is definitely one of the best events that the high school hosts. We have clubs with tables where they sell food. We have activities set up, sports tournaments, all kinds of great things. So we're all looking forward to that. And also congratulations to both Preston Palm and Emily Renoff, who qualified individually for the state individual golf championships. And finally, state tournaments start next week for other teams. And we're looking forward to a strong finish to the athletic year.
Okay, thank you. Heather.
Sure. The curriculum committee met on May 3rd. We talked about whether to weight outside classes in the GPA calculation, how to weight them or whether to weight them, and we came down to not including them in the GPA calculation, but listing them on the transcript. We heard about how the elementary school is interested in exploring a SEL program called Capturing Kids' Hearts. As we said, we discussed volleyball. We talked about the startup costs as well as concerning about ongoing costs after year one. And we took a look at the list of sports offerings and club offerings at the high school.
Thank you. Jocelyn.
Hello. So the negotiations committee hasn't met, but we did receive sign off on our business manager's contract. And so we are approving that later tonight. And that is the only negotiations update. The Ridgewood Home and School Association met at the night of our last board meeting, and so I have notes from that meeting. The Teacher Appreciation Week just occurred and was a success. The Rhino Romp is occurring next week, and so if you go out after 10 a.m. on, I believe it's Thursday the 25th, you will see students running down Ridgewood Avenue, and then Field Day is coming up in June. So the next Ridgewood Home and School meeting will be the Friday, the 2nd of June at 8:45 in the morning. Grace is the Glen Ridge Association for Special Education is having their final meeting of the year tomorrow night, and it will feature guests, Dirk and Betsy, to answer questions of parents, provide an update on the special education audit and plans for special ed moving forward, and then we'll also have the special guest of Gabrielle. Marks, thank you, Dirk, our special intervention services director? Supervisor, thank you. And so if you are wondering what Grace does, and if you're wondering about these roles, it would be a good meeting to come to. The link was sent out through the district-wide email, and it's a Zoom meeting, so it's tomorrow night at 7:30. That's it.
And that's virtual, yes.
Yep.
Okay, Duval.
Very quickly, just for Forest Avenue Home and School. Dirk touched on a lot of the activities that have been happening over there, so I won't go into that at the moment, but they are looking forward to a planting of the Learning Garden on May 22nd, so that's coming up. Oh, I'm sorry, their buddy breakfast is tomorrow. And flamingos are back on Forest Avenue. I've seen them. They are flying around like crazy. The last home and school meeting will be on June 6th, which is the same night as our Board of Ed meeting. So I won't be able to be two places at once, but I'll try to pop over there afterward. And then their second grade promotion will be June 12th. So things are winding up and down at the same time. That's all I have.
Okay. Anthony, anything?
Nope. Only the fall enrollment for sports has gone out, and so that's the only report I have.
Okay. Tracy?
Thank you, Betsy. The Personnel and Policy Committee is scheduled to meet this coming Monday, May 22nd. Central School has not had a meeting since our last meeting, and the Educational Foundation did have a meeting last week during which we approved a number of grants and mini grants, which I believe we will be seeing on future agendas. Thanks once again to their generosity. There's some really interesting programs that will be funded going forward.
Thank you. The last high school home and school meeting took place when we were having right before our meeting. And so I was not able to attend, but I know that they discussed Project Graduation 23, which is about to come to fruition, and the getting off the ground of Project Graduation 24. I want to make sure that everybody attends the Arts Festival and Eco Fair on Saturday, which is sponsored by the Home and School. Keep your fingers crossed for decent weather. And I know that the high school home and school is looking for officers. So if you know anybody who would be interested in serving in a leadership position, they should see Tara Arnett, because she would like to hand one over. And that is my report. David.
Last Friday, the Finance and Facilities Committee met to discuss 4 or 5 items, ongoing projects, including the volleyball team. And we do not have a new meeting scheduled for the rest of the year, but we will get together as Barbara requires.
Okay. Moving on to the minutes. You have in your packets the minutes from April 25th, exec session and regular session. Does anyone have any changes to those minutes? No? Barbara, would you may I have a motion? David, would you move the minutes?
Moved. I move M1.
May I have a second? Second from Tracy. Since there are no changes, Barbara, would you call the roll?
Mr. Bonnet.
Aye.
Mr. Campbell.
Aye.
Ms. Gottlieb.
Aye.
Ms. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. St. Auburn.
Aye.
Dr. Yaris Ramos.
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, we have some administrative items. Tracy, would you move the admin items?
Yes, I move A1 through A8.
Okay. May I have a second?
Second.
Second from David. Any questions or comments from the board on the admin items? No? Barbara, would you call the roll?
Mr. Bonnet.
Aye.
Mr. Campbell.
Aye.
Ms. Gottlieb.
Aye.
Ms. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. St. Auburn.
Aye.
Dr. Yaris Ramos.
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And before we move the personnel items, I want to give special thanks to our business administrator, Barbara Murphy, whose contract we will be approving shortly. She performs flawlessly in so many roles that keep the district running, and I just wanted to congratulate her on the new contract and thank her for all her service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, Tracy, would you move the personnel items?
Yes, I move P1 through P15, which will include items for P1 and P6 on the agenda.
Okay, may I have a second?
Second.
Second from Anthony. In keeping with our rules and the board members' code of ethics, all personnel items are discussed in executive session. That being the case, Barbara, would you call the roll?
Mr. Bonnet.
Aye.
Mr. Campbell.
Aye.
Ms. Gottlieb.
Aye.
Ms. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. St. Auburn. Dr. Yaros Ramos.
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Heather, would you move the curriculum item?
Sure. I move C1, including D and E on the addendum, and C2 as well.
Okay, may I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any comments or questions from the board on the curriculum items? No? Barbara, would you call the roll?
Mr. Bonnet.
Aye.
Mr. Campbell.
Aye.
Ms. Gottlieb.
Aye.
Ms. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. St. Aubern. Dr. Yaros Ramos.
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Before we move the business items, there's a revision to a donation item. The Glen Ridge Education Foundation made a generous donation of money for 2 rigamajig kits. And Duval, correct me, at Forest Avenue and Central Avenue?
That's correct.
Okay, for Forest and Central. So thank you to the Glen Ridge Education Foundation. And now, David, would you move the business items?
I move B1 through B8.
Okay. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Duval. Any questions or comments on the business items? Barbara, would you call the roll?
Mr. Bonnet.
Aye.
Mr. Campbell.
Aye.
Ms. Gottlieb.
Aye.
Ms. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. St. Aubern. Dr. Yaros Ramos. Ms. Ginsburg.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, we've come to the second public comment period for questions or comments on agenda items or any other item pertaining to the running of the schools. And the protocol is the same.
Apologies for a second. If I had known that the room would empty, I would have committed my voice to the first time. It seems like if we want to pack them in, we need to have a pandemic or try to change the school day to before Labor Day. That gets them in. But in all seriousness, Ms. Ginsburg mentioned, and I wanted to mention, that the state and county officials really determine our lives in this district. They determine our teachers, their salaries. They're the ones who are responsible for the health care that we're in today, which is part of the reasons why we can't hire teachers. If you look at so much of what you have to do, what we all contend to together, so much of it derives from our county seat and from Trenton. So at the Eco Fair, the Glen Ridge Democrats have arranged that all candidates will be making an appearance between 10 and 4. You have your chance to meet, we feel, very good candidates, but still they are coming to shake hands and it's election time, but also they're coming because they want to hear from you. And we're very fortunate in this district to have running a principal of Wayne Tech, so Carmen Morales. We have a longtime county commissioner, Carlos Pomares. We have the mayor of Bloomfield, Mike Venezia, who's running, and of course Brittany Timberlake, who many of you may remember, who spoke out so eloquently during the book ban. So for all of you who are here, and especially for you on the board, I really encourage you to use this time to maybe make a connection in a very comfortable way, because as much as I work for them, they work for us. So I hope that you and the town will take the opportunity to extend our voices.
Thanks, Charlie. Anyone else? Okay, that being the case, everybody come to the Arts and Eco Fair for all the reasons, including the student art, which is always amazing. And with that, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.